What's up everybody, it's Roman Gaming here. So I've been contemplating this entire day whether I should make a video on this topic. It's a very sensitive thing that happened yesterday with PewDiePie, who of course right now is still I think the biggest YouTuber out there. He was streaming PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. He basically was getting very frustrated, you know, he was trying to kill a certain guy in the game, couldn't manage to do so, and out of frustration he started calling him the N-word basically, right? And of course many people fell over that, big controversy started happening on Twitter and everywhere. And understandably so. I knew from the beginning that this was going to happen. And really, like, once again, because it's such a sensitive topic, I know that there is already a 100% chance that you're going to at least upset some people, right? No matter what your opinion on the stance is, people take it very, very seriously. And therefore, if you don't agree with them, then yeah, you're probably going to get, you know, sworn at, or you're going to get called certain names. And I know that's going to happen here too. It's kind of like, yeah, unavoidable. But at the same time, I do feel it's really important that everybody is allowed to simply share their opinions, and therefore I'm not gonna hold back from making this video and sharing how I personally feel about it. So let's actually get into that. Now, first things first, I find it really important to say this. It was, in my opinion, a really stupid thing of PewDiePie to do this with simply the type of responsibility that he has. PewDiePie is right now the most subscribed YouTube channel out there and has many kids watching his channel. By simply using words like that, the N-word, you're making it normal for others to copy that behavior, and so you're only gonna make the word more popular. Hell, especially now with the fact that of course there's such a big drama about it, it's gonna get even worse. Like this might be becoming a meme. People, like, it's gonna get crazy, you know what I'm saying? It's really stupid that he used that. At the same time, of course, you have the YouTube adpocalypse going on now for the last few months, and this is only gonna make matters worse because YouTube already takes huge issue in people using certain words or you know, speaking about controversial topics. Like I said, this is gonna make things even worse. So in that way, I highly recommend that he would have never actually, you know, done something like this. It's just stupid. At the same time, I look at this in a very similar way that I looked at myself back in my high school years. I actually have a great example. So of course, I live in a different, you know, region than America, where this is, you know, really a huge deal, the N-word. I live in the Netherlands, and right here, it's actually, you know, a very popular thing sometimes for people to swear with diseases. Might sound really weird for those of you who aren't from here, of course, but here there's some type of taboo on diseases, on using those as swear words at the same time. And so you have, of course, the word cancer that people sometimes swear with here. And I myself, back in high school, I'm not gonna lie with you, I used to do it myself. I would sometimes just blatantly, out of frustration, use that word because it for some reason sounded satisfying to use. It just contains, you know, certain letters, and as a word in general, it sounds very satisfying to use it. And I kind of feel the exact same way about the N-word in America. It has a similar effect, while at the same time, because there is that taboo on it, it only makes things for some reason seem more satisfying to use it, you know what I mean? So I used to do that as a kid, and I constantly had people fall over it, you know, and sometimes I would get, you know, it would get addressed, and people were like, Robin, do you have absolutely no respect for people that are suffering from cancer right now, that are dying from it and stuff? And my response would have always been the same. Yes, of course I have respect for those people. When I use the word, it's just out of frustration. It's not meant to target those people. Hell, my own uncle died of cancer back when I was very young, and it had a huge emotional impact on me still to this day. And of course, I have the utmost respect for people that are in the unfortunate situation to be suffering from it. But at the same time, like I said, when I use that word myself, that wasn't necessarily because I had ill will against people that actually were suffering from it and stuff. Yeah, it was for different reasons. So as I grew older though, you know, right now I'm 22 years old, and for the longest already I have stopped actually using the word completely because once again I did start to realize, simply for being respectful and because I know some people take offense in it and stuff, I'm just not gonna say it anymore because I feel more responsible nowadays, and I just don't do it, you know what I mean? At the same time, if I still hear somebody else using it, I'm not gonna necessarily think negative of that person. I just once again wouldn't recommend them to do so, and I think it's better to, you know, show that respect to those groups of people. I kind of feel the exact same way about this situation with PewDiePie using the N-word. It's a very, like, you know, slavery was a very bad thing, and fortunately all of us living right now in this day and age, we didn't grow up in those times. This was like 150 years ago that it ended in America, I think, and it's been going on for, I think, a couple hundreds of years. So that was a terrible thing, and right now, of course, we have fortunately advanced, and we know that people are simply born the way they are. I was born 22 years ago, and I just happen to have, you know, to be white. I can't help that myself. It just is the way it is. And some people are born black, some people are born Asian. No matter what your origin is, in the end, we are all equal. We all have equal rights, and we should, because nobody can help the way they were born. So obviously, slavery was a very bad thing. At the same time, once again, this is just a word, and in the end, a word only really has the power behind it, or the meaning behind it, if you give it that. You know, people choose to be offended. It's not necessarily that a word can be called offensive or not, because some people will not get offended by it, and some people will. Once again, it's up to the individual to put the power and the meaning behind a certain word, and the same thing counts here for the N-word. At the same time, I kind of think there's sometimes a bit of a double standard going on. Some people simply feel that they are for some reason allowed to use the N-word because, for example, they are black, right? But then white people are not allowed to use it because, oh, they were the enemies back in the days or whatever, and they were the ones that caused it. But you gotta understand, I was not the one that caused it because I'm white. You know, I'm born now, I was born 22 years ago, like I said, and I just happened to have this skin color. I can't help it. For the sake of equality, we should then also tell each other that either everybody is allowed to use it or nobody is. It's really that simple, right? And speaking about the double standard, you know, you also see that some people making a big deal about others using the N-word, then at the same time don't have a problem using other words that are meant to target groups of people that have had a huge history behind it. Like think about certain swear words that we have that are meant to target homosexuals and stuff. It's the very same thing, to be quite honest with you, and therefore, once again, if you're gonna complain about the N-word, that's fine with me, and I will completely agree that, you know, maybe we should just all agree not to use the word. At the same time, of course, there is freedom of speech right now. You're always going to have people using the word, so I would just say try to not feel too affected or offended by it. At the end of the day, everybody is allowed to say anything, honestly. As long as it's not really implying actual violence. And the fact that PewDiePie here was using this word while playing a game out of frustration, once again, doesn't necessarily immediately make him a racist, like some people are making it out to be. Of course, if he is a racist, then that's a very bad thing, and I don't have any respect for him. And I'm not ruling that out by this. I'm just saying this doesn't necessarily make him that. And I also think some people are just very kind of annoyed with the fact that people are just so easily labeled nowadays. You know, you use a certain word, you're a racist. You say something bad once, you're immediately put into this corner, like this is what you are. And there is just like it's more complicated than that. You know, Trump, for example, winning the elections, getting out of the popular vote at least 48.5%, I think, out of the votes, while so many people were calling him a racist and somebody who hates women. Does that mean that half of the people in America support somebody who's a racist or who hates women? No, I think it's generally that they simply disagreed, and that they're at the same time kind of annoyed by the fact that it's so easy for others to call, you know, people a racist or somebody who hates women for the smallest things, you know what I'm saying? And I think this is kind of a very, very similar case. There's double standards going on. At the end of the day, I get it, and I'm very much against, of course, racism. I don't even need to really defend myself here, right? Like, you know who I am. You know I'm not like that. I'm a very reasonable person, I would say. I don't look at people differently for the way they were born, once again. I've had many friends that were black. I have in no way ever given people an advantage in the way I felt about them because of the way they were born, because of the skin color they had. Makes absolutely no sense to me. But then at the same time, there is that also equality in the words that people can use. Either we can use them all, or we can't use any of them. It's really that simple, and the same counts for everyone for the sake of equality. So with that being said, those were kind of, my thoughts on the matter. Let me know your personal thoughts on the topic in the comments. I really appreciate it. And then with that being said, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.